This is your window into the Rider world. The Rider News and 107.7 The Bronx present the Rider News Roundup, the podcast. Our hosts Caroline Haviland, Grace Bertrand, and Ben Shinault are standing by and ready to give you insight on the stories and important events you need to know about. This is the Rider News Roundup, the podcast.
Welcome back to another week of the Rider News Roundup podcast. My name is Ben Shinault, one of the sports editors at the Rider News, and per usual, I am joined by
Caroline Haviland. I'm the managing editor.
And I'm Grace Bertrand. I'm the executive editor.
All right, we got quite the agenda here today for you all. Shall we get started?
Yes, we shall. There's a lot going on in news this week, or the last 2 weeks, I should say. So first on the agenda is we have to talk about how Kate Eka, a social work adjunct professor at Rider, was abruptly fired on September 17th, according to a university-wide email from Rider President John Loyak, which did not name Eka directly, I will say. But in an exclusive interview with Eka, with the Rider News, Eka said that the reasoning for her termination was not because of anything she said in the classroom or on university grounds, but rather she was fired because of the post she made on her personal Facebook account following the murder of political activist Charlie Kirk. Now, in response to Eka's sudden termination, Rider's faculty union, the AAUP, responded in a faculty-wide September 17th email. The AAUP chapter has now intensified as they vowed to fight the dismissal and fight for academic freedom at Rider, according to another faculty-wide email on September 19th. Now, in this email, Rider's chapter of the AAUP called the university's response to threats against Rider and Eka the most cowardly response, and said that the action was an outrageous example of blaming the victim. In the email, the AAUP said also that the university was in direct violation of their contract under their article under academic freedom, where they agreed to not threaten, coerce, or discipline members of the bargaining unit because of what they say or what they do as private citizens. This also came as a follow-up to Provost Kelly Beidel's September 18th faculty-wide email, where she addressed the university's decision to abruptly fire Eka on September 17th. In her email, Beidel said that... Okay. In her email, Beidel said that the university's concern was the safety of the campus. In her email, she said that in response to these posts, several individuals at the university received a threat from a member of the external community, that this decision was not about, it was about protecting their students, faculty, and staff in the face of real threats arising from these actions, and it was not about their political differences. Eka has said that she has received threats following these posts and that the location of her personal business has even been doxxed. So these threats are very much real towards Eka. And then according to a September 22nd New York Times article, the national AAUP has been aware of retaliation against approximately 60 professors and teachers since Kirk's September 10th assassination. Rider's AAUP chapter is set on taking the necessary steps to fight against what they say is a breach of contract by the university. So this is a very intense situation going on, and it's very serious and very real, and I'm sure there will be more to come from this story. So I would stay tuned on the Rider News for more developments on that. Also this past week, more on Rider's financial crisis. As Rider perseveres through a financial deficit of $21.8 million, Rider President John Loyak has labeled the university's financial condition as more severe than expected. This is according to a September 19th university-wide email. He says that the driving factors of this budgetary crisis were a combination of market conditions, challenges with enrollment and retention, reduced residential occupancy, and other several unforeseen events, which he did not name in his email. Going forward, to include the Rider community in this process, the email said that there will be small group conversations with faculty, staff, and students to discuss the varying opinions the campus community may have with plans the administration will then present to the Board of Trustees. In an exclusive interview with the Rider News, which came out last week, President Loyack said he plans to begin guiding the university into a stronger financial direction by settling on a budget for the current fiscal year once the annual campus census on October 1st is completed, and the census then finalizes the amount of students enrolled in classes and living on campus. In a little break from the serious stuff, in addition to strengthening Rider's financial situation, President Loyack also plans to maybe have a sandwich at the pub named after himself. He said that if he were to follow in DeLomo's footsteps, he would spice things up a bit. He might name his future sandwich the Hot Johnny, and in this sandwich, it would be on a hoagie roll. It would be topped with a long hot, turkey, jalapeno cheese, a little mustard, lettuce, tomato, and onion. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that is a little too spicy for my liking, and I like spicy food. I don't know about you guys.
I don't know how I feel about that. The pepper being kind of like a star of the show just isn't, it's not it for me, but maybe there are people that would like it. It's a little bit more than what DeLomo has at the pub right now. I don't know.
Ben, what are your thoughts?
Me personally, I think the best thing about the sandwich is the name. The Hot Johnny. As soon as I saw that, I started chuckling, so my apologies.
The Hot Johnny. It's a great name.
Yeah,
it's a great
creative. Yeah.
I will agree with Grace. It might be too spicy for my liking, right? And I'm not a spice guy. When I get my wings, I usually get a mild, and with sandwiches, I typically try to keep it to the buffalo range, right? But if the Hot Johnny, ends up on the menu at the pub, maybe I'll give it a shot. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe it won't be here. Maybe you won't be here when it's here.
Ooh, I hope so. I'll have to reach out to Hot Johnny.
You come back to Ryder just to try.
Just to try.
I would.
The Hot Johnny.
The Hot Johnny.
President Loyack, if you're listening to this, you should put it on the menu.
Yes, effective immediately because we're all seniors.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you.
Also, in news this past week, on Sunday, September 21st, there was the first New Jersey gubernatorial debate held in Rider's own alumni gym. Democratic candidate Mike Sherrill and Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli assumed their positions to face off in a variety of questions in hopes of drawing voters closer to who they may select in the polls come November 4th. This debate was moderated by reporter, anchor, and television host Laura Jones, and featured 3 panelists, one from the New Jersey Globe, one from Rider University, and one from the New Jersey Monitor. The event started off also with an introduction from President Loyack, who joked that while the university was bipartisan, he had to just say, "Go Bronx." And that did get a cackle out of everybody
It did.
in the gym. And from student volunteers and public safety officers to basketball coaches lending their offices as green rooms, the whole university really came together to make this debate happen. The debate was the highest attended in New Jersey gubernatorial history, with an estimated of 1,600 people in attendance in our own alumni gym. Can you guys believe that?
Yeah, I couldn't really understand how they fit all those people in there. They really transformed that place.
They transformed it. They said a couple of times that they transformed that into a live television studio, and it was very apparent. It was really, really well put together by Micah Rasmussen, and Caroline and I attended. I don't know if you did, Ben.
Did you go?
I did not have the pleasure. I was down the shore. And I came back Sunday night, and I was sitting in the traffic, actually. That was pretty brutal.
Were you at a Phillies game? At Eagles?
I was at Eagles game.
Eagles.
Go Birds. That was a good game. It's a little tease into sports later, so keep it tuned.
Oh my God.
Okay, awesome.
Me and Grace went. It was a high intensity environment, to say the least. But I'm really glad that we went. I'm no longer a New Jersey resident, so I can't even vote in this election. But just to know, I felt like I learned a little bit more about these candidates. I didn't know anything really about either one of them. So
I will say that it was very informative, and I really recommend going to read the article that touched on a few of the questions that were asked to both candidates by one of our news editors, Caitlin Sutton.
Now we're going to get into a little bit of features and entertainment. So on our last episode, we talked about the R Factor auditions and everyone who got to move on to the finale that took place last Friday, September 14th. Now, it's been a couple weeks since the finale, so we know the winner is sophomore musical theater major Olivia Conti, who sang Don't Rain on My Parade in the first round of the evening, and her final performance, she sang Let It Go. Now, we need to debrief because I was actually like starstruck when I saw her come onto the stage. She just had this presence about her too. I remember her standing there and she planted her feet so firmly on the ground and she just was like, okay, I'm ready. And then you heard the notes of Don't Rain on My Parade. And I actually audibly gasped. I gasped.
I also gasped. I loved Don't Rain on My Parade. I love Barbara Streisand.
Oh my God.
So I was also starstruck, and she has this smile that just lights up the room, lights up the whole stage. She was really great, and I'm gonna give inside. I did vote for her, so I'm really happy she won. She was my vote.
She was so fantastic, and Let It Go. She sang that. Well, let me get into it after. So for everyone who didn't go to R Factor, this is how the evening went down. So basically, first all 8 finalists who made it from the audition round the week prior performed, and then the audience voted on who they wanted to advance to the second part of the night, which is called the final showdown. So only 3 acts could move on based on the voting, and then 2 performers were accepted from the audience, and then the third was accepted by the judges. So as you already know, one of these performers was Olivia, and then the other 2 acts were sophomore music education major Casey Decker and a trio, which I did discuss in the last episode. I was very intrigued to see them perform. They made it to the final round, composed of sophomore music major Connor Bowden, sophomore music education major Aaron Lynch, and sophomore musical theater major Matt Angelaccio. It's an evening for the sophomores. Gosh, good for them. Anyway, so Olivia sang Let It Go for that final round, and you hear the beginning notes. Again, I was like, is this girl really going to do it? Is she actually going to just blow me away? And everyone was just like, I just remember everyone, I think I heard everyone gasp in that audience at that moment. I was like, oh my God. And she did it. I remember the last note that she actually hit, it was like higher than what Idina Menzel even does in the original. And I was like, oh my God. How do you outdo Idina? I just don't understand. But anyways, Casey Decker, she was really amazing as well. What song did she sing? It was Jessie J.
Oh.
I don't remember.
Ooh, wait. Is it the
Mama Knows
I don't
Best.
care about the money.
No, I just said it. Okay. It's Mama Knows Best.
I don't know if you can
Jessie
tell
J.
Ben didn't go to R Factor, so no, that was not the song to Casey.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Gotta make this here.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She was really great.
That was amazing. She had this presence on stage as well. She really. It's all about how you come onto stage. I feel like you can just tell when someone has confidence and when they're going to just blow the roof off the place. And she was one of them. In her first round, she sang that song and she killed it. She was belting. It was amazing. I don't remember what her second song was either, though. I don't think it was featured in the story.
I cannot recall, but that doesn't mean it wasn't good because
no, she was amazing. They were all so good.
Also, the trio. We have to talk about the trio because it's really hard to play an instrument and perform and sing as well, and then harmonize on top of that. They killed it. They did such a good job.
They harmonized really, really well. They sang This Boy, is that what the name of the song is by the Beatles? I don't know if it's This Boy or That Boy. They keep going back and forth in that song. That was their first song that they sang in the first round. And then the second song was Hello Darkness, My Old Friend. Yeah. I don't know what Sound of Silence. Oh, good job, Ben. Good job. You got
Simon
one
and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
That's what it's by.
I love Simon and Garfunkel.
I love that vibe of music, that genre. So I really liked the trio. I enjoyed them.
Yeah, they were really amazing. That was a hard group to beat. You know, all of them did a really good job, but Olivia was crowned the 2025 champion, and she definitely deserved it. So congratulations, Olivia. I know it's 2 weeks late, but we had to debrief because it was just such a good night. You can read Sofia Santiago's story from our September 17th edition to get a more in-depth look at the evening.
Co-bylined with Jasmine White.
Yes, Jasmine White, co-byline. Next up in features, last Friday, Meet the Greeks happened on September 19th in the campus green, which is a really big annual Rider event. The event allowed fraternities and sororities from the National Pan-Hellenic Council and the National Multicultural Greek Council to show off their strolls and salutes, as well as educate people in what they do. So the NPHC, it's the acronym, is made up of historically Black and African American Greek organizations, and the NMGC is the umbrella for all culturally based fraternities and sororities. This year, the event took a bit of a turn. Usually it's just they perform their strolls and salutes, but this year it turned into a competition to be named the Meet the Greeks 2025 champion. With the prize being a $200 reward to go towards their chapter. I'm guessing whatever like philanthropy they have, whatever cause that they work towards. And after each performance was over, the winners were announced as Lambda Tau Omega in third, Chi Upsilon Sigma in second, and Alpha Kappa Alpha in first. I didn't go to the event, but I felt like I went to the event after reading Jasmine White's story because I think she did such an amazing job covering this. The photos were so good, really brought to life the purpose behind these sororities and fraternities, as well as just kind of like what they stand for and stuff. So I highly recommend reading Jasmine White's story from our September 24th edition. Did either of you attend? Did you attend, Ben?
I did not have the pleasure, but I've always heard that it's a very, electric atmosphere.
Yes, that's a good word for it.
I sometimes feel like my fraternity should have a stroll and a salute. I don't think it would be as amazing as theirs.
Yeah.
It's just jaw dropping, and I get the chills every time. Like they'll do their strolls and salutes at other events that we have on campus, and they're just awesome. They just silence the crowd whenever they do them.
Yeah, man, it's captivating to watch them.
Yeah. I've never, well, actually I have. I just lied to you guys. I have gone my freshman year. So this was like 2022. And it was really electrifying, I will say. It's a whole production almost. And you feel like you're at a concert, except there's like no singing, but like chanting going on. And it's just really, really great. So to hear that they've made it kind of a competition this year is very exciting because I feel like a new twist on the whole Meet the Greeks was very much needed. And yeah, I love Jasmine's story, so I would definitely go read up on it if you didn't attend or if you did.
Yeah. And that's all we got for features and entertainment for the last 2 weeks in the Rider News. Ben, you want to take it away with sports?
Y'all know what time it is. It's sports! Okay. All right. So this week in sports, or this second week, we should say, we got a feature. We got a new feature on board from Samantha Clark, Home Away from Home. It's a story about Samra Saeed. It's not said. It's not said.
We all knew that, actually, except you, by the way.
Well, me and Sam were joking. I was like, it's going to be a real pain in the butt for the copy editors because it's going to say said. But really it's Saeed said.
Right.
Saeed said.
Okay. So we're going to say Semra. Semra is a senior forward from Mannheim, Germany, which is 4,000 miles away. And Sam did some digging on kind of how schools work in Germany. From sophomore to senior year, schools stretch from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and her field hockey practices would begin promptly at 5:45. So she's out of the house. She's in the school by 8. We're there from 8 to 5, and then she can't even go home. Practice starts at 5:45, and then she's got to practice for probably 2+ hours.
That's a long day.
And then you got to start it all again the next day.
Wow.
6, 7 a.m., So, I mean, it's insane to see just the kind of difference between, the two schools there. So it's a really good read. Highly recommend to check it out. Sam always kills it with her features.
She's so good.
She did it once again. A little bit more brief history about Semra. She's been a real, critical member of the field hockey team for a couple years now. She signed to Rider in September of 2021. Kind of made an immediate impact her freshman year. 9 goals. And I think scored her first career goal in Rider's first ever upset win against American University. They were number 25 in the country, and Rider took them down when Semra was a freshman and scored her first goal against a ranked team, which is very impressive. And field hockey, it's no stranger to having, players from overseas. Valeria Perales, she's from Spain. Jade Regnart, she's from South Africa. Martín de Céspedes is also from Spain, and Saeed, of course, is from Germany. So I think a lot of, also in the story, Saeed was talking about her kind of missing home, but then having, teammates that are in a similar position really helped her kind of find her footing, and now she's, kind of doing her thing here at Rider. So Saeed, in her 3 years, going on 4, has got 14 career goals. 9 came in her freshman year, which is insane. 13 assists and over 120 shots. So definitely an offensive playmaker that field hockey is very lucky to have.
Can I just say that story by Sam was amazing. I kept saying it after I read it, that there are moments in that story that made me sad, that made me happy. Like you said, like having when Sam writes about how Saeed, sees all of her teammates coming to meet their parents at games, and then she doesn't have her parents with her, that broke me. And then also, but when Sam writes that, Saeed's teammates' parents opened up their doors for all the international students, that just made me really, really happy. So there's just a lot of emotional parts to that story that I think are so important and were so important to Saeed's story. So I really recommend checking out Sam's feature.
She did a really good job.
100%. And staying on field hockey, kind of more on the negative side, field hockey has lost 5 straight games, their first time since the 1999 season. So pretty much over 25 years have they lost 5 in a row. But in the previous 2 games, which you guys could read about in the paper this week, they fell to Stonehill University in overtime 4-3. Definitely a crusher in the late stages there. And they also fell to Towson 2-1 as well. Both at home on Ben Cohen Field, just can't quite put 2 and 2 together. But, obviously they do have a new head coach, Gina Carey-Smith, so it was kind of like a late addition. I think the prior field hockey coach, she kind of left right before we moved into school. Like, it was very late that she resigned. I'm not really too sure of what happened on that front, whether she was fired or let go or kind of just took her talents elsewhere. But, you got a feel for Gina Carey-Smith here, kind of thrown into the fire. And it just kind of looks like they're off to a rough start. They are, starting up NEC play. So they're kind of, they'll get they'll get the tires turning very quickly. Field hockey also is always known for having successful seasons. So kind of breaking down some latest in Rider soccer. Also not too pretty. Bronx fell to Georgetown 4-0. I talked to Coach Sternberger after this game. I did not know it, but Georgetown coming into the season was the 25th best soccer team in the country. Oh. I did not know that. So, when you look at the box score, you can see, they lost 4-0, I believe. Malias Helias, the goalie of the game, made 13 saves, which is insane. I mean, it's within Rider history, but obviously I also talked to Helias after the game. When a goalie's making a lot of saves, it typically means that the team is not doing too good on the defensive end. So Bronx fall to Georgetown 4-0. Then they started MAC play against the Canisius Golden Griffins, lost that one 1-0. That's a crusher. They lost in the 75th minute, according to Go Bronx. The Bronx tried to defend the shot with a header. They missed, and the ball ended up in the back of the net. So that's how Rider lost with less than 15 minutes to go in the game. With that loss, that was their 4th shutout loss of the season. And their 1-6-1 record is their worst start since the 2022 season. And kind of looking at this Rider team, the last 2 years they made the MAC championship. So it's kind of crazy to see their kind of slow start here. But obviously, in the way that college sports are played today, once you have some success and you want to enter the transfer portal and want to get bigger opportunities at bigger schools, so we're seeing a prime example of kind of Rider losing all their star talent and to the transfer portal or sometimes even to professional soccer. So Rider men's soccer looking to kind of turn the tides here and kind of pick up a win. And also 4 straight losses as well for men's soccer. Also first time since 2022. On the women's soccer side, a little bit better. They got 2 wins instead of 1 for men's soccer. Rider fell to Canisius 1-0 to start their MAC play. And then they tied with St. Peter's 0-0. That game was played yesterday, September 24th, in the pouring rain. So obviously 0-0 is kind of a result of the weather that day. So women's soccer also kind of with a sluggish start. They did pick up their first point in MAC play with that draw. So they're slotted second to last in the MAC. But, just with all these sports that are kind of off to a slow start, it's just because of their schedule, really. I mean, when you start off the season with out-of-conference opponents, obviously you're not really going to have the best record because you're playing teams that you don't usually play. And once again, the conference play usually evens out a little bit, so hopefully we see that with all our teams this year. Women's soccer, their third tie of the season. So they're picking up points. They're picking up 1 point at a time, but at the end of the day, you want those 3 points in a win. So we'll see. Definitely slow start for all Rider sports.
Yeah.
I haven't really, as sports editor for a couple years now, I was talking to Dr. I. This might be the worst start to seasons I've seen. Right?
Wow.
I feel like every week I'm writing about losses.
Yeah, no, seriously. I feel like we're reading about them.
It's tough, right? It's tough. It's tough to talk to coaches and players. I mean, I feel like every single time I interview them, I'm like, 4th straight loss. What's happening? And it's kind of like the same thing of like, we're kind of entering MAC play. I see the potential with this team, so it's kind of been the same narrative. So I hope everything straightens up and it's kind of a fun, more fun teams to cover. So volleyball also kind of struggling. They were, as I said this week, lassoed down in Tennessee.
That was a good headline.
Thank you.
Yeah,
they got their bottoms beat by the University of Tennessee. You can predict that Tennessee is a very good volleyball program, and also Alabama A&M lost both of those, but just like all the other teams are entering conference play, and that record just starts to even out a little bit. So
Yeah.
that's all I got for sports.
And that's all we've got for you
That's
guys.
all we got for this
actually.
week.
Yeah.
That's all we got for this week. But if you guys want to read up on any more stories from this week and last week, go check out theridernews.com. Latest in sports, features, news, and opinion, which we don't talk about here on the podcast, but there's a lot of good opinion pieces from not only our students, but also faculty.
Yes.
So I really recommend going on our website and also checking out our social media. We have a bunch of stuff there. We also have a post coming up anytime soon now on meeting our staff. So you get to meet the 2025-2026 staff, Rider News staff.
Yes.
That's really exciting stuff.
So exciting. Is our plug for socials the Rider News, like for everything?
Yep.
Right? Cool.
We're on Facebook. We're on Blue Sky. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. And anything else you can think of.
YouTube.
X.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Us.
Awesome. We have a new edition out every Wednesday. If you're a student, faculty member, or staff, you'll get it in your email at 10:30 every Wednesday in the morning. And we have meetings every Wednesday at 4:30 in the basement of Long Street House. So if you're interested in joining the Rider News, you want to write, you want to do graphics, take photos, do video, check us out.
Yes.
We would love to have you.
And in addition to this bi-weekly podcast, we also have Rider News Roundup reports that come out every Wednesday. We have a lot of more voices that you might find unfamiliar on there, but it's very gearing up. And also, our very own Ben loves to do the reports as well.
Yes.
I do like them. I mean, I do like doing the reports. I think they're fun. I
does.
can put on my little voice and stuff.
He has
but
a
it's
voice
also
for
been
radio.
fun, training the kiddos, right?
The kiddos.
They're your age, Ben.
Except for
So,
Jazz is on. She's senior.
so are you. The kiddos.
Training the kiddos.
So check us
There you
out.
go.
So ignore Ben. Check us out. Check the reports out on 1077 The Bronx. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. Yep. Thank you for tuning in,
Thank you,
guys.
everyone. Bye.
One more thing.
Oh, never
One more
mind.
thing.
No, never mind.
Make
What?
sure to get your friends, your grandparents,
Yes.
your dog, your cat,
Right.
and go over to our website, right? And then you're gonna see a QR code, right? You're gonna scan that QR code, and then you're gonna download or you're gonna donate
Yeah.
to our digital newsletter.
Yes.
So every single Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna get this awesome email with all of our stories,
Yes.
news, features, entertainment, opinion, sports, maybe even a little crossword puzzle if you're into
If
that.
we're
Yes.
you like a little activity.
So
Support
definitely
the
check that
Rider
one out
News.
as well.
Yes.
Support student media. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, very well said, Ben.
Thank you. Good job. Good job for
Thank
plugging
you.
that in, Ben.
All right.
All right. Now we'll see you in 2 weeks.
We'll see you
That
next
was
time.
it.
Bye.
Bye.
That's all the important information we have for the day. Thank you for listening to the Rider News Roundup, the podcast. To stay up to date on new episodes, listen to past episodes, and know everything happening at 2083 Lawrenceville Road, go to 1077thebronx.com/Rider News Roundup.